I guess, to the art party. IYF itself as an organization believes that art has a creative power to move people emotionally, and it also can be a language that resonates across the borders. So thus we believe that IYF believe that art can be one of the effective tools to raise solidarity for young people in Southeast Asia. That's why IWF this year has consistently released Yuana Zine. So it has been our third edition right now. And as the reader, my experience as the reader, personally reading this third edition of Yuana Zine on topic Days of Activism, I see many and I feel many artworks that bring a strong message through a different medium: photograph, painting, poem, essay, and meme. I'm so happy that we have meme in this edition that put together very well by our lovely zine curator Aliana Cabral from Philippines and our zine designer or layouter from Indonesia, Amarawati. Thank you, Ali and Mara. I think there is nothing much that I want to say. We let the reader interpret and have their own feeling about the great creative artwork on this zine. And I also believe that Ali, as the curator, has more expertise to say on art and artivism. I think enjoy the art party and happy International Human Rights Day. And welcome once again.
Thank you, Fatima. And Ali was just, I mean, like, Ali was here and now Ali is not here. So I guess while waiting for Ali to come back to give some speech, we're gonna go into the first artist. Let me just project my screen real fast. Second. And if you love the arts, please appreciate the arts and the artists through the chat box. Share your loving emoji and stuffs. We would love to, make the chat box pretty fun. And here we have Tan Chanok Ho Mai Chin from Singapore. As you see, she is a multidisciplinary artist based in Singapore and basically driven by her autobiography and memories. Her work often revolves around the themes of identity, consciousness, displacement, and nostalgia. So if you would like to visit her more, she has a website and also Instagram, Destructive Club. And the art that she submitted is here. So this is your stage, Mai Chin.
Hi everyone, my name is Mai Chin and I'm from Singapore. I'm going to read to you my excerpt of my Dadaist poem. Sovereign or state or country and I will observe the further solemnly swear or affirm that powers and privileges to and that I absolutely and entirely lost and be true, loyal and faithful Singapore, and that powers and privileges to renounce all loyalty which I may be entitled by to the Republic of Reason, of any foreign or affirm, to solemnly swear and bear true allegiance to any foreign exercise the rights, nationality, or citizenship, that I will not citizen of Singapore. So the excerpt that I just read to you is actually an oath statement that I have taken while I have renounced one of my nationalities in Singapore. I then translated them to Thai, I'm not sure if you can see it, and Mandarin. So this statement actually was composed using a method inspired by How to Make a Dadaist Poem by Tristan Zara. He's one of the founding members of Dadaism movement, and I see Dadaism as a movement that takes things out of context, associate to nonsensical idea. And what I wanted to do to this statement is to take the meaning out, take the meaning away, and rearrange them. And something about Dadaism is that also they embrace the law of chance. And so I wanted to compose a poem that is by chance and not a conscious decision. So this is the excerpt that I have done. It's a statement that I have done where the old statement was cut up and then it's put in a bag and rearranged and then put and paste into a new whole meaning of paragraph, what I just read to you. And the way to read this poetry is you can use a color reduction theory. So if you can see the artwork, it's actually has a lot of text going on in Mandarin and Thai and English. And this is actually to mirror the cultural roots that define me because I'm actually a Chinese Singaporean Thai. So these texts layered over each other in different colors to kind of express the identity crisis that I experienced while I have to go through this process or anticipate for this moment where I have to give up one of my citizenships. And it caused a lot of emotional struggle and also conflicts, inner conflicts as well, and makes me question about freedom in a democratic society where, you know, I wanted to raise the question if dual citizenship should be considered human rights, because the freedom in a democratic society, if we actually truly have a choice, yet we are obliged to do something, you know. So I wanted to raise that question with this poem. And hopefully it also gives you an interesting way to look into these texts. If you are interested, you can look into color reduction theory and you can try to decipher the entire text in Mandarin, English or Thai, up to you, honestly. And you could even read the whole thing if you know these languages. So if not, then English could work for you. You could try to decipher them using the color reduction theory. And if you like, you can also send me on my Instagram or even like my website, the recording of you reading it. I would love to hear that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tan Chanok. I really love this visually, even you know, the substance also. I really love that, and I love the fact that, you know, I can read the first sentence, but as you know, the more I try to read it to the end, it's hard for me. So it's just like, you know, at the very first beginning, like you're so sure, but at the end, it was just like, okay, I lost my focus and I cannot read it. So I really love it.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to feature me on this Yuwana Zine issue 3 as well. It is an honor to be a part of it and have my voices heard, and perhaps also that resonate with other people that might have gone through similar experiences.
Thank you. So, Ali, are you here?
Hello.
Ali, okay. So, everyone, this is Aliana Cabral from the Philippines, and she is our waiter. So, Ali is outside, but she can give some words of remarks and welcoming. So, Ali, your time is yours.
Okay, can you hear me clearly?
I can.
All right. Sorry, I'm outside as of the moment. Okay. Yeah. First of all, thank you so much to the artists who submitted their works. Like, really great job. I was really amazed by all of your submissions, and like all of them to me were really strong and really poignant and moving because your works tackled different issues, and thank you so much because though your works were able to make me realize a lot of things and insights about certain issues in our countries, in our region, that I never really realized that so I was given kind of a new awareness looking at all of your works, because right now it's so hard because of the pandemic. Sometimes it's hard to connect to each other, but having a zine like this and a compilation of works that are speaking about the issues that are really meaningful helps us really connect what are each of our problems in our countries, and presenting solutions and how we can talk about them, how we can understand them together. So yeah, I guess that's, and thank you also to the ASEAN Youth Forum team for really doing this and organizing this regularly. Yeah, I'm excited to hear all of your presentations.
Thank you, Ali. I guess all thanks also to you. You have been, reviewing all the artworks. You have been selecting and you have been correcting the artworks. We don't have a nice selection of arts in the zine if it was not, because of you.
Thank you so much.
So next, I guess we're gonna fly to the Philippines, and the next artist is AC Benito. I hope I don't pronounce it wrong. AC Benito. So she's a student journalist, a women's rights advocate, and humanitarian volunteer. And she does blogging, and you can visit her on the website. You can see on the slide. And I see this. The stage is yours.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you can speak louder, please, so that it
Okay.
can be more clear. It can be clearer.
Okay. How about this one? Can you
I
hear me
guess,
now?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So this photo is captured last September 21, 2020. It's in the commemoration of martial law in the Philippines. As you know, martial law is one of the darkest times in the Philippine history. And this photo and this event is also memorable because this is the first time that protesters and activists have um, burnt an effigy again since the pandemic have started since the coronavirus. So this is really memorable as you know the Philippines is one of the longest lockdown in all the countries that was hit by the pandemic, and it is just that protesters and activists have to seek for accountability from the government. That's why I captured these photos, and this one's really memorable for me. That's all.
May I ask just one question? So, IWF is all about solidarity, and how do you think that, we as the youth can stand in solidarity with the youth from the Philippines, given the fact that, this was on the martial law, and, there is also anti-terrorism law, and recently you were hit by, natural disaster like typhoon. So, how is everything? How youth can stand in solidarity? Actually, what do you think?
For me, joining protests like this, being engaged and knowing what is happening in the country, uh, just by simply being aware, that's where we start to be unified, right? If we're aware, then that's the start that where we realize what should I do? Is it only that I'm aware, or should I do something? And as a youth journalist, one thing that I can do is to capture photos like this, capture historical moments like this, and join and stand with the people by joining protests like this.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Just to add, I guess photography is very important. Like it captures a lot of memories, and it moves people also. So I'm really glad that we have several photographs in this edition of Yuanazin. Thank you so much, SC Benito. Is there anything else you would like to say?
uh, uh, just an addition to everyone who's watching this. I hope that this artworks should not be just an artwork. It should wake us up. It should make us realize that we should do something on what is really happening in the country. It should not stay as an aesthetic. It should be a wake up call to everyone that we should stand in solidarity to fight for our rights as we celebrate International Human Rights Day today. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, let's just agree. If you would like to applaud, you can do this. So thank you so much. Moving on to the next artist is Iftinan Rose. Are you here? Can you say something? Let me just check in the participant. Iftinan, if you can hear me, I guess not. We can move to Valentina Lai. Valentina Lai, Tina, if you're here, can you say something? No? Okay, so we can move again to Sarah Ibrahim. Sarah, I guess I see you.
Yeah, hi. Hello.
Okay. So Sarah is a student, and I really love also the submission from her. So you can see her bio. Let me just read it. She's currently working on unlearning the biases I learned as a child, raised in a patriarchal and conservative society. That's what I have been doing for like the past 10 years of my life. Before entering university, I thought I was living a normal life. Now I realize a lot of things is actually wrong. So I've been unlearning biases, and it's nice to have it unlearned to to some points, because you can install the new awareness of living in this planet Earth, I guess. So I guess the time is yours, Sarah.
All right. Thank you. This is my poem called What Festers. So I guess I'll just start reading it. We find land to cultivate and water to take from and breathe life into our bodies as we find a core that settles and resonates like home. We build our home on stilts made of wood and stone, readily cut and hewn from this land we own, hoping the bundle we choose would carry our home with the strength it boasts for the simple promise of a good life. A good life, a promise that seems harder and further than ever before as the unseen rot in the wood that festers in one latches onto others, silently, joyfully, greedily feeds without pause or heed for the lives in the home above. That broken promise is found, and so too the black rot taken root, yet no cause for alarm would spill from the mouths of those that take the rot into their hands, and so consumed as they smile with their rot-stained teeth, our home is safe. Rot-stained teeth that chatters, spewing rot that festers in the lungs and blood and bones until rot-kissed lips feels right. Rot feels good, right? Rot feels great, doesn't it? You weren't taught how great rot can be. Stop asking, you sound stupid. How can rot ever be bad? You're delusional. The only one to think this, you're insane. My love, trust me, believe me, that rot is best for you. I love you. And my love shows in the rot staining your skin, a visible proof of my love and devotion, more lasting than the sweet roses, are promises that dies at my touch, a weakness. When my rot stain is so everlasting, it marks you even when I'm gone. So pay no mind to the crumbling walls of our home, the rot that lingers in its bones, and find your warmth, your shelter in my arms. And I will. But as the sun shines through the broken walls, I know warmth can be found elsewhere, where rot will cling. I look to the broken walls and wonder if your arms can break too. Okay, that's all. To speak a little bit about this poem, I sent this really late during the submission period. It was something of a problem for me because I was trying to think what is it that I wanted my poem to speak about? Oh, hi, cat. Sorry. It was a, and then, sorry, I realized that my problem is that, like, it seems that I and several other people in my country, and of course everywhere else, we see there's this problem. There's a, whatever it is, it's a corruption in the government, some kind of imbalance in power, whatever, a relationship gone wrong, maybe a case of sexual assault, whatever, right? But the burden of proof, whatever, always falls on the victim, right? Like, it's always the victim has to prove the thing that's happening. And if you try to challenge that, or if you try to prove your case, somehow you're the one in the wrong. And the other people can just sit there and watch. And to be frank, when I wrote this, I spent 10 minutes just crying about it because it hurt, you know, and it made me feel like I don't know where we, for me as a Malaysian, where we as are going in the future. It hurt, and it made me feel just that bit hopeless, you know. And I imagine, like, for lots of people in our ASEAN region, feel the same way with their own countries. You know, you love your country so much, but it seems like you and so few others do. So this poem was like a piece for trying to show the trust that we put in others, in the people who we trust to put power in, you know, whether it's the government or the person we love, our partner or significant others. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Please send love to Sarah and all the victims of that. It's like 16 days of activism. It started by, you know, the day against violence against women. So yeah, let's speak more on that issues. Next, we're gonna fly to Malaysia. From Malaysia. I guess Sarah is in Malaysia also. Alison, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. Please, the stage is yours.
Oh wow. The work is kind of small. I'll just like hold on. I'll have to open up my share. Okay. Okay. I'll just explain the poem after presenting it. So can you guys hear me clearly? All right. So here I go. Utopia. Welcome all. This land of milk and honey is yours to live and dream. A legacy from our forefathers that perished in the name of liberty, dignity, identity from alien enslavers. We wish to share with you our wealth of independence. Fret not, it's reserved. If you crave more, we will provide, so long as you don't mind us taking from others. Behold our capital cities, where monoliths defy the gods with steel and concrete limbs. Hear closely and you'll notice the shadows are moving. Ghosts in powdery briefs hunch with skin darkened from hundreds of sun, sculpturing the giants. Choose one or build your own and leave your resources to us. For a meager price, we'll bring in an army, specially shipped in for you. On the darkest nights, the brightest lights shine in red, and the women you seek shall astound you with stories of foreign shores and a touch intoxicated with lustful desperation. When you had enough, surrender into the lush duet woven by toddlers with missing fingers. This is the end of our tour. If you can stomach the nation's secrets, make yourself at home. Do not question us, lest you wish to be spirited away. All right, so at the beginning of writing this poem, I wasn't sure which direction I was going to because I had all of these research materials about violence against women, slavery, modern slavery, you name it, I did the reading. So I wanted to write something that could encompass everything. Like I don't want to leave anything out. Okay, that's really in this day and age. So as I was going through and this idea popped up, one day I was reading through Twitter and this news article came. So apparently, police had wrongfully detained about 24 of Indians, and even the judge like said that the police should release them because they done nothing wrong. They were all innocent, yet the police were being violent. They were discriminating all of these Indians. And while going through the post, a lot of people were saying like, why are you all expressing such oppression? Are you the one who's being oppressed? And I was thinking, racism is everywhere. You don't have to be oppressed to support somebody who is being oppressed, right? You are protecting their rights. You are speaking out for them. So it's because of this news, it got me very frustrated. So that's why I wrote the piece titled Utopia. Because like in Malaysia or any country, it could be your own or it could be somewhere else, Europe, whatever. You know, the government keeps preaching like, oh, independence is for everyone. Citizens who come into our country, you have equal rights as well. Like we provide you job opportunities, home, family, but who is really getting all of these benefits, right? Citizens, like even Malaysians who are fighting for foreigners who want to have a place in this soil, we don't really get anything, you know? You say independence, you say unity, racial unity, but does this racial unity include, you know, those undocumented people, right? So that's why when I was reading this poem, I had to I use a ringleader voice. So it's like I'm boasting the country, like look at our monoliths, look at how modern the cities is. But who's the one building the cities? On the backs of people who've been starved, who weren't paid enough, you know, modern slavery, and the red light district, you know, people looking for lust. But these are the women forcefully taken from their countries because they needed money. But if they spoke up, they will be threatened with deportation. That's why the desperation in their activity. And those people who revel in their richness, who were the ones manufacturing those products, children, child slavery from other countries. So a lot of people don't see this, and yet we just relax, we enjoy at the expense of somebody else, at the expense of somebody else's freedom and independence to keep our own in this country.
Thank you. The last part of, you know, it really reflective to me because, yeah, you know, I'm grateful for the life that I am, but yeah, I guess I'm sure that I'm aware that, you know, there is some lives out there that is being sacrificed. I guess youth all over Southeast Asia, you got to, you know, be more reflective and be aware of your privilege and use your privilege to, you know, to support, to, you know, to realize a world that is for all, not only for the elites one, not only for the privileged one. Thank you so much, Alison, for this piece.
Thanks for including me in this scene and y'all.
Next, we're gonna fly to Thailand. So Purnima Gohar, is that? I'm sorry if I pronounce it, but Purnima is a creative practitioner, researcher, and educator. So she's also submitting a poem, and she's gonna recite her poem, which I love. From the title, I really love the title. So the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for selecting this poem. Can everyone hear me? Thank you for selecting this poem. Thank you for selecting this poem, which I think delivers a very poignant and timely message, like many others that we've heard already today. Fantastic, thought-provoking ones. So I'll read the poem and then explore it. Our art is a weapon against oppression, a subdued hue that aims to harmonize, balance, mute the destructible noise. Our words must challenge, question, enrage, and set ablaze outdated attitudes for the new, neutral ways of being human. Because somewhere along the way, a human escaped its being. Our art is created by artists with eyes wide open, oozing with a lust for life, inspired by all its greatness and strife. But when we witness injustice, our art unites to become a tool for change. Art means everything when it is shared. Give meaning. So I think one of the most important functions of art is to challenge what is our accepted reality. And this poem in itself questions why we make art in the first place, its purpose, be it uniting, reuniting, representing humanity, and more importantly, the voices of the marginalized, which is often so underrepresented. Art is no longer a passive act of making, nor creating, nor receiving. In fact, it is the very process of art making and meaning making is active. And we as artists, be it poets, visual artists, musicians, whatever the word artist means to you, we have a very important role that is very integral now more than ever, I think, before, especially in a climate of division, inequality, oppression, corruption, and the list goes on. Our voices need to be heard now. It is a statement of progress and expression rather than repression, which is imperative to liberation. So that is what this poem encapsulates, this image of a weapon, which I think everyone needs to hold in their hands and utilize in their own means, in their own countries, especially we in the ASEAN region that is transforming so rapidly, but is it in the best way? And I think a lot of us are questioning that today. Are all changes progressing in the right way? So so I am an artist. I'm a writer. I also gave a TEDx talk a couple of years ago, and I'm very interested in utilizing art as a tool, definitely for activism, but more specifically also women's empowerment. And I'm currently working to publish a poetry book, which I anticipate will come out soon. Thank you.
Oh my God, I'm so exciting that we have, a baby of a poetry book coming up. So I wish you good luck on that. And I cannot believe I said this, but let's create more weapon against oppression, meaning let's create more arts. We are creative. We are creative human beings. We are part of creation. So let's create more arts. Thank you so much, Purnima. Let's fly to Myanmar. Mu Pomo, are you
Hi.
here? I guess
Yeah.
I can see. Okay, can you? The stage is yours.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. My name is Mupo Mo, and I'm currently a first-year medical student studying at the University of Medicine 1 here in Myanmar. So, I actually wrote poems for Yuanazain 1 and 2 as well. And for this Yuanazain 3, I was like, it'll be fun to write something about the international human rights. But I didn't exactly expect for you guys to do this release virtually. But it's amazing though. Yeah. So my poem is on feminism and women's rights. So it's kind of specific. And personally for me, I am a woman like who cares about feminism and also the equality between men and women, especially. Because even in like developed countries like the US and Australia, there's still inequality going on. So for us as developing countries, we're still working on making change towards a brighter future for both men and women equally. So I'll just read the poem. My poem is called We, Her, and Them. So it starts off with, she was 5 and naive. She didn't know where exactly she was. Soundless, she runs, doing everything as she was told. Voiceless, she was. Expected to be broken, to be mute, to bow her head and lower her eyes, while others become full with undeserving power. They robbed her of the treasures, of her freedom to think. The youth she might have possessed, the books she could have read, are all nowhere to be seen. She has a voice, yet remains unheard. We must help her. We must unite. They have reminded us repeatedly, we're always going to be less than, always going to be just women. Yet bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I speak my mind. And I know and I believe there is nothing out there that man can do that women can't. Nothing. To this, I'd like to make a toast for all the proof that women has provided us, for all that they have fought for. We, as your descendants, vow to continue this unravelment. Yeah, thank you so much. So that was my poem on feminism and women's rights. Because as you all know, women didn't exactly have the chance to get access to good quality education or even wear pants. So, you know, like the people, the women actually, from the past, our ancestors, they have worked really hard to pave the way for us to be able to get access to high quality education and our own rights. So yeah, let's unite and empower each other.
Thank you, Mo. How do we pronounce your name correctly?
Oh, it's Mumo.
Mumo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I pronounced
It's
it
okay.
the wrong way. Mumo, thank you so much. I really love this. You break out, yes to feminism, yes to, equality. And yeah, let's not forget that a lot of violence against women happening, not only women, but also trans women up there.
Yeah.
So we really need feminism to, make the world better for everyone, for all. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Mumu.
Thank you.
And next, we're gonna fly back to Malaysia. I guess Humaira, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, your
This is
nickname
Momo.
is Chibi Momoiro
Yeah,
in the scene.
sorry.
So she writes and she teaches. I guess we have a lot of educators and also a lot of writers here in the Yuana Zin selected artists. So Humaira, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Hi. Um. Okay. I'm kind of nervous. Oh, you put side by side on this. Okay. I'm going to do my poem instead. I sent to two submissions, the collage and the soil. My theme is on soil but biodiversity. And okay, I'm gonna start reading it. I'm so nervous. Okay. The title is Soil Beneath. Dream of food to eat, yet the grass loses its green. Soil hardens, bears cracks. Without soil beneath, how are earthlings to wander, or birds to aid us? So our soil seeds grow to be green or rainbow after rain and sun. So it's just really short, different from most of you. Uh, and I choose soil because it's just appealed to me the moment I saw the themes that to choose from. Okay, just let's go back to okay. The first stanza. Okay, I wrote it as haiku because I wrote it as um what is it uh in a form of haiku with the syllables there in one piece poem. Dream of food to eat, yet the grass loses its green, soil hardens to bear cracks. It's basically barren soil where the soil being so dry, there's no nutrients in it, and the importance of soil, they're they're important. Okay, like okay, for example, of food to eat because we grow our food on soils. Soils grow uh, uh, trees, plants, and then we harvest the plants and then we eat. And it's not just us, the animals too. And then, yeah, the grass loses its green, as in they die, the green becomes brown and they die. And then soil hardens, they lose it, they are moist and the things. And when the moment they die, even the life, the community inside in the soil are not there. And then the second stanza is about, without soil, without the soil. The first thing is where can we, how do we walk? How do we even walk on the the surface? If we don't have soil, we can't even walk. But yeah, so how are earthlings, and we are the earthlings, obviously, and or birds to aid us. The soil, they even got, how volcanoes, the lava erupted from the volcanoes, and um, the good thing about volcanoes is that the lava will cause the soil to be healthy, and it has to be, it get burned to help us. And then so our soil seeds grow to be green or rainbow after rain and sun. It's just so how can we help, uh, how can we do something about our soil? Mm, yeah. So our soil seeds that you start gardening, maybe you do something with the soil, um, like grow to be green or rainbow. Rainbow, there is the flowers, trees and stuff, and then this, and they will grow if we tend to the soil, and then they will grow um, after rain and sun. I think that's it. We just it is important for us to keep our soil biodiversity because it's a cycle, and yeah, we always put security. Yes, without because everything comes from the soil, and not just for us, for the animals. And the animals already do their job as the because they they breathe, they grow, and they die, and their bodies will come back to the earth, and they already do their part, and it's our part to do something about it too. If we're not big, we just um, start gardening, I guess. Okay, I think that's it about me, for me.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Humaira. I really love, one of the day that highlights during the 16 days of activism is World Soil Day to, highlights like issues on land rights and issues on biodiversity and land. And let me just say again, climate change is real. It's not a hoax. Some presidents in this planet Earth don't believe in such, climate change. We need climate justice.
Yeah.
So let's, voice out on this issue too. And I mean, can you imagine in upcoming years, like we don't have any soil and we don't have any wings to fly? I don't know how to live. So thank you so much for this work, Humaira.
Okay.
And next, we're gonna have Rifki Nufajri Ramadan. He is a student currently pursuing a master degree in development studies at Institute Technology Bandung, and he's basically doing a lot of works on the queer rights. So the stage is yours, Rifki.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I currently write some sort of reflection in regards to know about what are the sort of human rights violations which all of us have been a witness to in the past 50, 20, 30 years. No, I would like to make a reflection as to how actually these rights originated, how actually did these rights eventually come into becoming, some sort of everyday lives which we are all entitled to. And I'm writing this in the backdrop of so much violations of human rights here in Indonesia. Not so long ago, a trans Papuan individual was evicted out of her home, and so many of I think it was very commendable that many of Indonesian queer organizations sort of gave campaigns to to give her some home, and then the killing of Christians across in Sulawesi, and endless police violence against protesters in Jakarta and in Bandung, in Yogyakarta, and in many cities. So that is the backdrop in which I'm trying to write this essay. So all of us know that once all of us as humans evolved uh, um, from our ancestors, we kind of like departed from our individualistic senses, and we gave in to some sort of new sort of feelings and associations when we become Homo sapiens, which is people who are socializing, people who are practically who are civilized. And across the course of time, these senses become some sort of norms and becomes obligations and towards the community, and the community gives us something back, which is in the forms of rights. And throughout our massive civilization, be it the Persian Empire, the Roman Empire, or any of those ancient civilizations, these rights, the human rights of us as citizens, of us as humans, these have always been conditional, because it is conditional as to whether you are actually on the winning side or not. That was the condition of having your rights as human, your rights as a living being. And I guess after the Enlightenment age, this has become this conditional rights sort of changed a bit, in which people realize that these rights should not be some conditional things. By example, the Bill of Rights in the Kingdom of England, and then the rights of men in the Revolutionary France, and the Declaration of Independence in the United States. All of these were documents in which people finally acknowledging that there are some inalienable rights which are endowed by some creator to humans, which no one, not even governments, actually can interfere. Sadly, that is not universal. That, you know, it's still in the phase in which only some of people who are, you know, who have these, who are under these governments of acknowledging rights, those were the only people who have those rights. And even in the United States back then, slavery was still legal, and you know, in Napoleonistic France, slavery was reintroduced in the colonies as well as in the metropolitan France. So there was some, you know, uptick, there was some progress there, but it was nothing, right, basically. But after the after the uh, after the Second World War, and people finally realized how horrible the fascist regime of Nazi was in Germany, in Italy, and in their satellite states. Nations practically came together and made this some sort of universal declaration of human rights. But what is not seen, what is not understood until now, is that that declaration was not binding. That declaration was just it, a resolution, nothing more. That was what I called a promising era, in which people thought, all right, we already know that this is inalienable, that these are inalienable rights, that no one can take them away. However, not a lot of people, not a lot of countries respect them. I mean, you know, back then in Indonesia and so many of you know, lands which are colonized by Britain and France, you know, organized this conference, but Asia-Africa Conference, in which they acknowledge the human rights of all people. Yet, penal code against homosexuality still exists in so many of African states, and even until now, the rights of let's not talk about the LGBTQ community. Let's talk about press rights, the freedom of press. Let's talk about the freedom of speech. Those are not yet even acknowledged here in Indonesia, which is supposed to be the organizer, the defender of rights across Asia and Africa against the colonizers, the quote-unquote colonizers. And so what I'm trying to introduce in my essay is that I'm trying to tell people, how about we depart from the centuries tradition of waiting for our rights to be acknowledged by the state, and rather we must ensure that our neighbors, our friends, our, you know, people who we know, that their rights are actually taken care of, that we are actually protecting their existence regardless of what the state says. I mean, the grim reality is homosexuality is even punishable by death in several countries in ASEAN, and you know, even you know, by even curbed. Sorry, not curbed, but you know, exiled from society. And I think that is very regrettable. And to wait for the state to realize our human rights is just something that we cannot wait. We cannot wait for our rights to be recognized. And so I offer in my writing that we as fellow citizens across ASEAN to eventually hold in hand together and you know, and help each other in protecting each other's rights. And finally, I would like just to say that if you are, you know, if you're very aware of the human rights violations across in ASEAN, I think you can actually work and you can actually help your local human rights organizations. And I think I've been particularly following the ASEAN SOGI Caucus, which actually works closely with sexual orientation and gender identities issues, as well as numerous gay rights organizations across Indonesia. So yeah, that's my presentation. I'm sorry, it's 7 minutes. Hello, can you hear me?
I love your spirit, and let me just quote this because it's so small. Let me just read it carefully. That is, the people of the world, including Southeast Asia, must realize that with or without a state or a superpower, their rights exist and must be protected. I really love that one. You know, our rights is our birthrights. So yeah, it must be protected. Thank you so much. I really love the essay and the spirit. And next, we fly back to Malaysia. A lot of entries from Malaysia. Aina, are you here?
Hi.
Okay.
Hear me?
We cannot see you. So
Okay.
now,
Yes.
okay. So Aina is a multi-potentialite Malaysian. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good and sophisticated. I love it already. And spending her entire year studying electronic engineering. So I really love this intersectionality of talents and interests. So Aina, the stage is yours.
Okay. Okay. First of all, I thank you. I thank Rastra and Eliana for managing tonight's session, and I hope everyone is doing very well in this pandemic. So I submitted my poem very late, and I didn't expect my art to be chosen for the third issue of the Yuwana Zine. So I'm really thankful, and it's such a big honor to be featured, to be selected as one of the artists whose artwork will be presented in the Yuwana Zine third issue. So as we all know, on the Saturday, 5th December, it's an International Volunteer Day. And my poem that I made is actually meant for volunteers. I have been a volunteer myself. And I think there are so many volunteers these days that goes unappreciated. So I dedicate this poem to make for the all volunteers from all around the world. So I will recite it now. I'm actually a bit nervous. It's my first time. Look up to the night sky and tell me what you see. I see the dark, said the child. Where are the stars, miss? Asked the child. Are they no longer with us, miss? Asked the child. Have they lost their shine, miss? Asked the child. Yes, my dear, the stars lost their shine. Yes, my dear, just like us, stars die too. But dear, don't you worry, wipe away your tears. Chase away your fears. Some stars are not among the dark skies. Some stars come to us from places far, far away. By boats, by car, and by flying airplanes. They come to us as the unsung heroes. Their desire for rescue burns like the sun. They wear their smiles like polished shields. And when you see them smile, my dear, those are the stars you would never see in the sky. For they walk on earth and become the brightest stars to shine. So if we see the naked meaning for the poem is there's a child looking up at the night sky, but they couldn't see any stars. And the woman told them that some stars are visible just not on the sky, but they are the people who walk on earth giving help to others. So there's another meaning, hidden meaning, which is the child is actually scared. It is a dark moment for them, but the woman told them to not be sad or scared, as there are many people to help them. They come from different places, and they come with a burning desire to help them and rescue them and make smiles for them. And that they are truly, those volunteers, those people are truly the brightest stars that shine in the dark for the people from all around the world. That's from me.
Thank you so much, Aina. Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you so much. I really love the poem too. That's why I put it, at the end of the session, because it's like so simple but it relates a lot. Like it's about volunteers.
Thank you.
A lot of issues are not being raised enough. Volunteers, people who do pro bono, they are the brighter star. Thank you so much, Aina, for bringing that up. That was the last one, but let me just go back again to the earliest artists that were not appearing. So we have Tina. Tina, are you here? Tina, if you are here, please say something. I guess not. And Iftinan Rose, Indonesia, are you here? Iftinan? Not yet. So I guess everyone, that concludes the performance. Can we have like an applause for every one of us? Like applause for ourselves is a self-love. Any artist out there that hasn't been called because you forgot to register and you would like to read out some poems or some performance, please just raise your hand. If not, then we can close the session. And before I close the session, because it's live on Instagram, let me just pull this announcement a little bit. Wait, where is it? It's gone. Wait a second. So this Sunday, we're gonna have our last open session. So open session is where you can come and you can say whatever it is that you would like to say about the topic. We had topics on the refugee, we had topics on the sexual orientation and gender expression, education, mental health. Now for the last open space of the year, we talk about youth advocacy. We highlight some ways on, how you can participate, how you can, take initiative, because sometimes you just, okay, I would love to do something on this issue, but I'm not sure how. So maybe you can share your experience here, or you can simply listen to others. Maybe you can duplicate, you can copy their style, you can, initiate something similar to what others have done previously. So that's the advertisement that I have. And just to announce again that the UNAZIN edition number 3, Days of Activism, is up on our website. So please go to ASEANYouthForum.org/UNAZIN, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, ASEANYouthForum.org/UNAZIN to have a complete zine. And I guess that concludes our session. It's been so much fun. I learned a lot from you, and now I love these kind of events because now I know what the artist is trying to say. Sometimes, it was just like in your head, maybe she mean by this, maybe he means by this, but now we can see the context and we can clear, maybe we can also see how our interpretation can be integrated to what the artist has been trying to say. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time. I'm just gonna stop the live here. Stop the live here.